Welcome back to Morgborg Tech. I'm coming at you today with an unboxing of the largest phone lot I've ever unboxed on the channel, and which also happens to be one of the largest phone lots I've ever seen on eBay. This is advertised as a lot of 140 cell phones. I do not want to say definitively because I want to confirm that later. But anyways, this was actually being sold by a business. This was originally being sold for about $200, and I was able to negotiate down to 150 plus shipping. So ultimately, for these phones, I paid $185. Not as impressive as some of my past phone lots in terms of pricing, but not bad for this market. I have the shipping label on the other side, so you won't be seeing any of that. Let's get into this. Now, I will say before I get into this, with the way the pictures were for this listing, I could only see a fraction of what was in the phone lot. So a lot of these phones that you're about to see are actually not only a mystery to all of you guys, but also myself. There are a few of them that I'll recognize, which, if I remember, I will point that out to you. But the majority of these I don't know anything about. Some of these have batteries, by the way. And also, I am not sure if there are any smartphones in this lot. I only saw basic phones in the pictures. Get some bubble wrap here. And we can see, look at all these phones. They're actually a little warm to the touch, so hopefully they didn't get too hot. And right off here, here's a smartphone. Just as I said, there probably weren't any. I find one. It's a Nokia Windows phone. Doesn't have a battery. How do I get the back cover off of this? There we go. Nokia Lumia 521. I don't think I'll be able to test this one because the way the batteries are. I don't think I have anything that goes into this one. Not sure what network this is on either. Here's a Samsung on T-Mobile. This one has a battery. Looks good. No water damage. SGHT 219. Here's another Samsung on T-Mobile. This looks like the Gravity 2. I have the original Gravity, which you've seen on the channel before. This one also has a battery. Looks good. SGHT 469. I don't know if any of these phones have SIM cards or not. Hopefully some do, but I'm not counting on it. Here's a Samsung on Metro PCS. I actually do recognize this one. It's got some tape over the screen here. That's kind of yucky. I'm glad to have that off. It's a slide phone. Reminds me of the T301G. SCH R400. I might have a battery for this one. Here's another T219. Hinge is a little loose, so this one might be broken. No battery. This phone might be water damaged. Here's a Samsung on AT&T, SGH A437. I think I might recognize this one from the pictures. Here's yet again another T219. This one seems like it might work. I'm probably going to have a bunch of those by the time I get through all these. Here is a Sony Ericsson TM506. I already have one of these. It's actually my mom's old phone, but this one is just like it, color and all. Looks good. Hopefully this one works. Be cool to have another one of these, even though this back is really dirty as I drop the phone. Here's a Samsung Smooth on Verizon. There's a phone number on the other side. Here's a Samsung, not sure the carrier or model. As you can tell, some of the phones are kind of nasty. Has a battery. Hopefully that's not corrosion on the battery. Hopefully that's just dirt. SGH T369. I see a little bit of it there. Many of these phones are going to need a good, nice cleaning after this. Here's another one of those on T-Mobile. Another T369. Let's get that off of there. Battery may or may not be good. That's the T369. I'm probably going to have to go out and buy some more T-Mobile SIM cards after this. Here's a, not sure what this phone is, might be it's a ZTE Z431. This one does have a SIM card, so that's good. Here's a Samsung on T-Mobile. This one has kind of the trackpad, just like my S390G. Battery looks like it might be all right. Let's see, SGH T379. Here's a Samsung on Metro PCS. Charging port cover is open. SCH R310. I think I do recognize this one from the lot. Unfortunately, it's got some of the sticky rubber, which is a royal pain in the to clean up. Here's a Samsung on T-Mobile. This battery's probably bloated, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll probably want to recycle this battery, unfortunately. This is the SGH T209. If I remember right, this phone uses the same battery as the X495, so I should have a battery for this one, thankfully. I'll go ahead and toss this battery to the side. Moving on, here is another phone here. It's not branded, but it looks like a Samsung. SPH M360. This looks like a refurbished phone. Maybe this is one of the refurbished phones from Asurion back in the day. Here's a Sanyo Katana LX on Sprint. I actually did see this one in the pictures. No battery, but that won't be a problem for me. Here's yet again another T219. Here is a, what is this? Looks like there's something attached to the lanyard attachment area, which I'll end up taking off. This is a Samsung on Metro PCS. I believe this is called the Freeform 2. As you might know, I have the Freeform 3 in my collection. SCH R360. I don't know if I have a battery for this one or not, unfortunately. Here's another one of those. Let's see if this one does have a battery. No, it doesn't. Here's what looks like a brown T219. The others were red. Battery looks all right. No water damage. This is a T219S. Whatever the S means, I don't know. Here is an LG Accolade on Verizon. I already have one of these. This one looks like it might work. Of course, it's dirty though. Here's a Samsung on T-Mobile. Lots of T-Mobile phones in this lot. Yes, this one has a SIM card. That's good. SGH T229. So this is probably the successor to the T219. Here's a Samsung on AT&T. I think this is the A137. Could be wrong. Battery looks like it's probably all right. Yes, that is the A137. Here's another T219 in brown with a battery. Might be water damaged, the phone at least. Has a SIM card. Here's a green T219, it looks like. By the time I'm done with this, I'm probably going to have every color of the T219. Or no, actually, this is the T109. Looks really similar to the T219. I'll actually bring it back up for comparison. So you can see they actually look really similar, even on the inside. Here's a really sticky Motorola on Singular. I probably already have this one. V557. So I believe I have this one already. Here's another T109 in the same color. No battery. Here's a Samsung, this looks like the T339 with sticky rubber, unfortunately. That is the T339. Something just fell, I think, from this phone. Maybe. Looks like it. Here's a, looks like another A437. Sticky rubber once again. These phones might be harder to clean than my last lot. And that one was pretty tough. Now I have like triple the phones. Here's an LG on AT&T. I know for sure I don't have this one. Battery looks good. CU515. Good. Go ahead and tuck this part of the box in so it's not coming out. Here's another, I think this is a T379, if I remember right. I'm already forgetting the names. This one has a battery. Looks good. T369. I just noticed this one takes micro USB. Interesting. Here's another Freeform 2 from Samsung. This one does have a battery, so I can use this battery to test the other Freeform 2s. R360. Kind of hard to get back in there. Here is a Samsung with a sticker. I'll be sure to take this off. Yucky, sticky rubber. This looks like the C417. Indeed it is. Not sure if I have a battery for this one or not, unfortunately, because this battery compartment looks a little smaller than some of my Samsung batteries. Here's another Samsung on AT&T. Sticky rubber once again. SGH A117. Did I read that right? Yeah, this is the A117. I thought this phone looked a little different though, so maybe it's different. Here's a Sanyo Incognito. Something under this sticker. This must be some kind of a government phone. And this one's actually on Boost Mobile, just like my other four. I was hoping this one would be on Sprint or maybe Virgin Mobile, if that exists. When I test this phone, I'll probably find out why the carrier branding was covered. Here's another ZTE on AT&T. Z431. This one does not have a SIM card. Here's a Samsung on Metro PCS. This looks like a phone that I might already have on another carrier. It's a very large battery for such a small phone. SCH R570. Here's a Motorola Razr on T-Mobile. I had to take a phone number off of this phone that was just sitting on the top. This one has a generic battery. Might be slightly bloated, probably because it's so cheap. This looks like a V3G. As you might know, I have the V3T. This one looks a little newer than my other Razrs because this one has a little logo for my faves. $69.99 apparently for this phone. Here's an LG. This one's actually unbranded. Has a screen protector, probably from the factory. Let's find out what this phone is. Battery looks good. Simple Mobile, apparently. GB255G, looks like. Interesting, I've never heard of this phone or seen it before. So this will be interesting to test. Wonder what kind of a charger it takes. Okay, I have that one. It's the smaller proprietary charger. We're already almost 22 minutes in. We have so many phones to go. Here is a Sanyo S1. Not sure what carrier this one is on. Maybe I'll find out when I can take this sticker off. Am I seeing this correctly? Pretty sure this is Bell Canada, so this is actually a Canadian phone. Very cool. This is the Sanyo S1. Very cool there. Here is a Sanyo on Sprint. Oh, I remember at some point what the name of this one was. Has a generic battery. This one's for the 3800 and the 6750. Katana Eclipse. This is probably an Asurian refurbished phone from back in the day. Pretty sure these are little LEDs on the side, if I remember right. So this is a pretty cool phone here. Hopefully it works. Here's another T339 on T-Mobile. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a battery, but at least it has a SIM card. Hopefully there's another one of these in the lot that has a battery. Well, there's a Samsung battery that is bloated. Gonna recycle that one at some point. Here's an LG on Sprint. Hinge sounded weird. Hopefully this phone works. LX400. I'm getting a lot of phones in this lot that I don't have, which is a good thing. Here's yet another Freeform 2 on Metro PCS. $19.99. That might be water damage. Alright, so I had to take off another phone number, but here's a Samsung slider phone on AT&T. I don't know if these are scratches or if it's just dirty. I think I might know what this is. Battery looks good. SGH A687. So maybe I don't know which one this is. So I was thinking this might be the Flight 2, but that might be a different phone now that I think about it. Here's a Samsung Gravity on T-Mobile. I actually have one of these already in the exact same color. No battery. T459. Here's another Razr on AT&T. This might be one of the higher end later models. Ooh, what a pretty color. This one is a gold Razr. No battery, unfortunately. V3XX with a simple mobile SIM card in it. So I don't know if this one is unlocked or if it's not an AT&T phone, or if that's just an incompatible SIM card. And Tony's phone collection, if you're watching this, is I don't know a ton about Razr phones. You probably know more about them than I do. Let me know if these V3XX phones are rare or not, because I see you buy these pretty frequently. Moving on, here is a Sanyo Katana LX on Sprint with a battery that was kind of popping out. Katana LX. Whatever this is here, this is kind of yucky. Let's get this battery back in here. Something tells me this battery is for a different Sanyo phone because it doesn't quite fit in here. Unless there's something wrong with the plastic. Here's another Freeform 2 on Metro PCS without a back cover. Here's a pink Sanyo S1 on Bell Canada. Unfortunately, this one has a cracked front, so hopefully the screen still works. This one does have a battery. And as far as I know, these pink Sanyo S1s might actually be rare because I've never actually seen one of these before. As far as I knew, these only came in black. And I actually looked up the Sanyo S1 on Google. I don't think I never saw a pink Sanyo S1. So these might be rare. This is one that I saw in the listing pictures, by the way. Here's a back cover to an LG phone. I'll keep this one to the side because we haven't gotten to it yet. Here's a Samsung slider on T-Mobile. That's not the name of this phone, that's just what it is. It's a slider phone. T239. Here is, I think this might be the T-Mobile Spark, the original one. I think I do have a battery for this one. So hopefully after I get this cleaned up, I'll be able to get this one to work. Here's a Samsung U360. I believe there's a phone number on the other side. Well, actually, here is this. Yeah, this is the Gusto, the original one. So this phone might have some issues. I will test this one further and let you know the results in my update. Here's another one of those. Well, actually, this one's a T-Mobile version. T359. I think this is called the Smiley texting phone. You can see how big my pile is getting. Here's another back cover for a Motorola. Set that to the side. Here's a Samsung on T-Mobile. This one feels kind of heavy, so it probably has a battery. Yes, it does. Battery's good. I think it says 669. Yeah, that's the T669. Hopefully this one works. Here's another Smiley. Freeze. So I don't know if this phone has a software issue or what. Battery looks good. T359, just like the other one. Here is another pink Sanyo S1. Not branded. This one might also be on Bell Canada, I'm not sure. In the rare pink color. Here's a pink Sanyo Katana LX on Sprint. This one I saw in the listing. Katana LX. Here's another I don't even remember. With a pretty bloated battery. T369. Here's a Samsung on TrackPhone. T245. Battery might be bloated. The battery might actually be okay for now. T245G without a SIM card, so this one's probably no good. Here's another C417 on Singular. This one might be a refurbished phone because it doesn't have the branding. This antenna here is loose. Here's a Sanyo on Sprint. This might be the Katana 2. Battery probably is fine. Oh, this is the Katana DLX. Here's another Samsung slider on AT&T. Battery might be slightly bloated, but it appears to be fine for now. A687. Here's another T219 in brown, probably water damaged. This one might be a refurbished phone. Here's a battery and a back cover for a Motorola and a Samsung battery. Looks good. And another Motorola back cover. Here's a back cover to a ZTE Z223. So maybe this is a phone that they were trying to sell. Whichever one it is, I haven't seen it in the lot yet. Here is a Metro PCS phone, ZTE. I think I remember seeing this one in the listing. Bloated battery, unfortunately. This looks like the C88. Here's another back cover to what I don't know. Here's probably a Motorola back cover. Nextel Direct Connect. Probably to a rugged phone of some sort. Here's a Samsung on T-Mobile, sticky rubber. This looks like a upgraded version of the X495. Battery's bloated. Let's see which one this is. T309. Here's another Samsung A437 on AT&T. Sticky rubber. No battery. I'm getting all of these A437s and none of them have batteries. Hopefully one of them has a battery, if there are more in the lot. Here's another Sanyo S1. Not sure what carrier this one is on. Here is a Samsung slider phone on T-Mobile with the trackpad. T379. Here is, this looks like another T229 with a bunch of tape over the screen for some reason. Very dirty back. That is a T229. Here's another Samsung on Metro PCS. Very sticky. R310. Here's another Freeform 2 on Metro PCS. This one does have a battery and a micro SD card. Battery looks good. Let's take this card out of here. 2 gigabytes. Here is a Sanyo. Not sure the carrier. I think this is another DLX. No, this is a Katana 2. Zap, whatever company that is. Probably factory plastic right there. Here's a Sanyo Katana something on Sprint. This is probably another Katana Eclipse. How do I get the battery out of here? This is the Eclipse X. So we now have the Eclipse and the Eclipse X. Hopefully both of them work. Here's an LG. This looks like the VX5500 on Verizon. VX5500 PP. So this is probably the prepaid version. Here's another C417 on Singular. This one does have a battery. Hopefully it's not bloated. Okay, battery looks good on this one. C417. Here's another T339 on T-Mobile. No battery, unfortunately. At this point, we're 40 minutes in now. Here's another Samsung slider phone on Metro PCS with this plastic here. Does this one have a battery? Yes, it does. It might be bloated. Let's see. This battery's bloated. R400. Here's another ZTE C88. No battery. Okay, this one I remember seeing. This is a Samsung T105G on TracFone with the SIM card. So this one, if it actually works, we won't be roadblocked by the lack of a SIM card with the original screen protector as well. So let's peel it off. Very nice that this one came with the screen protector. So this phone is probably brand new. It'll probably work just fine. So this screen here is in good shape. Here's another Razer. Don't know the carrier. Battery looks good. Let's see. V3G. So this might be another T-Mobile phone. Here's another T219. No battery, possible water damage. Let's see if I can get these phones a little closer to me. Alright, so here is a Samsung slider phone on T-Mobile. This looks like an older phone. T739, so this one will probably work. This one looks pretty cool, so hopefully I have a battery for it. Here's another T379. It's a gravity phone of some sort. No battery. You can see the phones piling up over here. Here's a Samsung slider. I think this phone might be called the Evergreen. SGH A867T. That might actually be A667T. This might not be an American phone. I believe in the US this would have been sold under AT&T. Here is the second smartphone in this lot. It's Samsung on Metro PCS. Very bloated battery. SCH R920 with a SIM card. Card required for service. So I'm going to leave that in there for now. I may have a battery for this one. Not sure. This one looks kind of cool, so hopefully it works. It's probably an Android 2 phone. Page Plus. Looks like a Samsung back cover. Let's take this off of here. This is a T359, so another smiley. Here's another Samsung flip phone with a bloated battery. SCH R420 on Metro PCS. Here is a back cover. Looks like it goes to this phone right here, which has a bloated battery. This is a T459. That goes on pretty well. Here is a Galaxy Prevail LTE. So this one's probably on Boost Mobile. Battery looks good. This phone probably works. Here's another Sanyo Katana LX on Sprint. Here's another Samsung Freeform 2 on Metro PCS. I have to wonder about all of these prices here. Maybe these are phones that the seller couldn't sell individually, because this seller does sell other phones. They mostly sell smartphones, by the way. Here's a Samsung Freeform 3 on Metro PCS. I already have one of these. Might be water damaged. R380. I think the one I have is in a little better shape than this one. Here's another Samsung Metro phone. R310. With the factory screen protector. And I just got some of the sticky rubber on my finger. Some of these phones are going to be so tough to clean up. Not looking forward to it, but it'll be worth it. Here's a Sanyo on Boost Mobile. I think this is the 3810. Yes, it is. And I have a battery for this one too, because I got one of these a few years back from the recycling center that came with a battery, but ended up being broken. The battery itself was good though. Here's a Sanyo S1. Not sure the carrier. Here's another Samsung on Metro PCS with this lots of sticky rubber all around. Oh wow, this one is really dirty. I'm going to put this one over here just to keep it separated. Here is a Samsung on AT&T. SGHA 817. This looks like a Java phone. Here's another C417 on Singular. Look how dirty my hand is from touching these phones. This one has a bloated battery, very bloated. This one looks like it probably will work. Here is yet again another Freeform 2 with a good battery. This one will probably work. Here's another Smiley on T-Mobile. Very bloated battery. T359. Here is another Smiley with a very bloated battery. This one looks like it might have a little water damage. Here's another A117, it looks like. Probably water damaged. Battery looks good, but the phone is probably water damaged. This one does have a SIM card as well. Here's a Samsung A437 on AT&T. For what I've been waiting for, does this one have a battery? Yes, it does. Is it a good battery? Might be slightly bloated. Battery will probably be alright for now, but it's starting to bubble up. Here's an Alcatel on TrackPhone. This looks like A206G. Yes, it is, although it's missing the SIM card, so this one's probably no good, unfortunately. This one I saw in the pictures. Here's another Smiley. This one probably has a good battery. Yes, it does. This one probably works. Here's a BlackBerry on T-Mobile. I remember seeing this one in the listing. There's a BlackBerry Bold. Thankfully with a good battery and an AT&T SIM card for some reason. It's a 9780. Here's an LG on AT&T with a loose hinge. This one might be broken. I remember seeing this one in the pictures. Good battery. This is the A380. Here's another A437 on AT&T. Sticky rubber. No battery, and it's probably water damaged. This is just like the one that I got in a phone lot last year. It's in similar condition to this one. Here's another C417 on Singular. Looks like there's either some kind of protector over this or it's dirty. Oh, this one might be broken. Not too sure. But it has a battery, which looks good. Here is another smiley. Phone got wet. Battery is bloated. So even though this phone apparently got wet, hopefully it still works. Here is an LG Revere on Verizon. I already have one of these, but mine doesn't have a back cover. This one has its own battery, which looks good. VN150PP, so this is the prepaid version. And if this phone doesn't work, I can just take this back cover and put it on my other Revere. Here's a note. Used for parts, no power, whichever phone that went to. Here is a Samsung slider on TrackPhone. T401G, and it does not have a SIM card, so that one's probably no good. Here's an LG Rumor Touch on Virgin Mobile. This one I did see in the listing. Very gross rubber right there. Here is another Samsung Metro phone. This one looks like it might have gotten gum on it. R310. I really have to wonder where these phones came from, if they came from recycling or something, because they are just filthy, most of them. Here's an LG VX5400 on Verizon. This one has a battery, which looks like it's good. This phone will probably work fine. As you know, I have the LG 285 on Telus, which is their version of this phone here. Now I have our version of this phone. Here is another Samsung Freeform 2 on Metro PCS with this sticker here. I remember seeing this one in the listing, the back of this phone, so I remember this sticker here. So now this here is really sticky. I'll probably need to soak this back cover in rubbing alcohol when I'm cleaning this phone. Battery looks good. This one probably works. There are just tons of these Freeform 2s in this lot. Here's another T-Mobile Spark with the factory screen protector. That screen looks really clean now. This one probably works. Here's another Sanyo Incognito on Boost Mobile. I'm sure it probably works. Here's an LG Neon. Obviously not on AT&T. This has to be on a different carrier. Developer program support. So I wonder if this is a prototype phone. That would be really cool if this was a prototype. Yeah, GT365. So if this is a prototype, I probably have a rare phone on my hands. Not for sale. So this very well could be a prototype. Very cool. Here's a Samsung Freeform on Altel. The only Altel phone in this lot so far. I thought the battery was going to be bloated, but actually it looks like it's probably fine. SCH R351. Hopefully this one works. Here's a Motorola Crazer. Made in Singapore. Not sure what model this one is though. Here are a few more back covers. Really sticky. And here's one for a BlackBerry that's still in the original package, it looks like. So this back cover here is probably brand new. This looks like it goes to a BlackBerry Storm, the original one. Here's another VX5400 on Verizon. Here's another C417 in this cool, looks like a silver or goldish color. Once again with sticky rubber. Battery might be slightly bloated, but it looks like it's fine for now. Here's a BlackBerry on AT&T. There's a BlackBerry Bold. $9,700. I don't see a water indicator on this phone. So here's a Samsung battery here, which is very bloated. Here's another Samsung Gravity, it looks like. T459A. So this might not be a T-Mobile phone. Here's another Razr on T-Mobile. This might be the V3T. Can't tell right off. It's probably a V3T though. Wonder what this is here. Looks like some kind of bead. Came off pretty easily. We're down to a few more phones, and we are an hour in at this point. Here's the Samsung Stunt on Metro PCS with the original screen protector. I have one of these on Cricket. Battery looks good, although it might have gotten dented. This phone will probably work fine. There's a few rubber bands here. And some paper. Here is a Sanyo Katana 2. Looks like there's some plastic here. This one is unbranded. Here are a few more back covers here. This one is for a Gravity. Here is one, looks like for a Sanyo S1. And here's another BlackBerry back cover. This one also goes to a BlackBerry Storm. This one actually has the factory plastic on it. Let's peel it off. Look how clean that is. Very nice. Let's see if we have anything left in here. So that was it. And I'll go ahead and get these phones back into the box here. Alright guys, so I went ahead and put all the phones back into the box and counted them up as I was doing it. And I counted 130 phones. So not quite 140, but I'm still satisfied. So I'll go ahead and clean these all up to the best of my ability. I don't know how well I'll be able to do with some of them, seeing how dirty they were. And I'll go ahead and test as many of them as possible. And at some point, it might be several months from now, given my last phone lot, but also given how many phones there are when I give you the update for this lot. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.